We are ready to glue the case of the box together, and again, I stained the insides already. It's not showing up in this light, but it's 2 coats of cherry. And just one quick tip that I did, maybe it'll show up, maybe not. Put some witness marks here in each of the corners before I disassembled it, because I had already checked to see which corners look best together, and I didn't want to lose that. So the 3 little hash marks here, 3 little hash marks here, I know that this is the same corner. So when I put them back together, and I got 2 hash marks on this one and a light V on that one. So we'll glue it together following our witness marks. Gluing's not a great mystery. What you want to make sure you do is spread your glue evenly on the surface and not too thick. But you do want to get enough to cover, but again, not to glob off. And when in doubt, remember, you can always put more on. It makes a good mess when you have too much. So I just like to see all the glue surface covered with a light layer, and you're probably still going to have some squeeze out, and that's fine. I did glue both surfaces. You could probably get by with just gluing one or the other. All right. And then like a lot of things, I do my assembling for this on the table saw, because it is the piece that I can trust to be straight and flat. Not a lot of things in this shop I can trust for that, but this is one of them. So we're just gonna slip them together. We're not gonna worry too much about perfect alignment right now. We will put a corner clamp on just to hold it temporarily. It'll be the permanent clamp too, but we're understanding that we're probably going to have to adjust it by the time it's all said and done. So here we'll grab the other 2. This is the double hash witness mark, which is this one. I'm going to try just gluing the one edge this time. You may be able to see I've got a lot of squeeze out in the middle. I'll have to wipe off. But I did stain it already, and the stain sat long enough to have dried. So that tells me that I had too much glue, which again is okay. Clean that up. Nice thing about these corner clamps is that they will keep the box sides in plane. They won't let it ride up or ride down. This is a double ender. I'm not too worried about the outside of the case right now, because that can be sanded and stained very easily, where the inside of the case would have been a bigger challenge to sand and stain, again, without getting the plywood stained up. And I wanted to leave the plywood as manufactured, not color. I think it's going to be a nice accent, not like a hey y'all accent, but like a differing surface accent. Now, I'll show you a tip. See how well you can see this. You see how it's pretty tight up here and then widens out down here. A, I'm out of these corner clamps, and B, they wouldn't work anyway because of the bottom. Because of the bottom of the case, wouldn't give it enough room. So here's our clamp, some easy mark, clean edge painter's tape. And what we'll do, pinch your corner together. And you clamped it. So I'll do that on all four corners. I'll wipe off any excess glue, set it aside, let it dry, and then tomorrow we'll come back, unclamp it, and then we'll start working over the corner feature. We can sand it and put the stain on it probably tomorrow. What we'll do now is we'll get this top ready to put together. And we're going to use a tool I haven't used on my channel yet. It's a biscuit joiner, not biscuits like biscuits and gravy. I have to make that joke every time. It's literally required when you buy this tool. But what it is it's a cutter, and it cuts such a shape as that one of these biscuits fits in. And what it'll do is, once it's cut and the biscuit's ready, it will look like this, but it'll be buried. You'll never see it again. I'll probably put two in this one here and one here. Purpose of that biscuit is to help it line up. Gives it a little bit of stability, rigidity, which, if you can see, this is going to need it. It's going to have a long way to go once we get it joined, but I don't want to do any of that flattening and thicknessing until I get it joined. So what we'll do is you take a mark while they're together as they're going to be, and then this biscuit joiner has a mark. You line it up and you push it in, and there's this saw blade. As it's whirling, it cuts the slot, and then you do the other one. It's a cool tool, certainly not necessary. When I got mine several years ago, I thought I'm going to use this for everything, and I have not. But here, since we're going to have such a wide piece that I want to make sure it stays together, then we'll go ahead and mark for the biscuits and cut them. And then once the biscuits are cut, we'll glue the joint, including the biscuits, and then put it in clamps and leave it sit until we're ready. The glue's dry, and then we'll start working on final thicknesses and dimensions with this. Well, that's about as good a place as any to have a stopping point. This will be my first 3-part video. It's not a hard project, it's just a little bit time consuming, and I want to make sure I'm catching the steps. So while we've got this clamped and glued up, there's a couple things I'll go through here. Since this is a reclaimed piece, I haven't trimmed off any of this, and the reason why I was very specific was, if you see here, I put some little bit of pressure on it, and that's okay because this is all going away. You may also notice that still hasn't been planed off, but again, it's going to go away once we get to the finish thickness and flatness. But I did clamp it on the bottom and on the top. It's as flat as I could make it. So the board itself, joint's good and tight. And stay tuned for part 3 of this Scrabble Box project. It's been a lot of fun, and on the third part, I should probably be able to wrap it up in 3 parts. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. If you got a question or comment, go ahead and leave that in the comments below.